Quicksilver Express is the largest roller coaster at Gilroy Gardens in California. This is the lone mine train coaster ever built by Morgan, and after riding this, it really is a bummer they didn't build more. This is a solid mine train, and I'll explain why in this review. Back when this park was known as Hecker Pass Family Adventure, they wanted to build a roller coaster to supplement their beautiful gardens. So the park contacted Morgan Manufacturing, who was located at the nearby La Selva Beach. Morgan had been manufacturing carousels, wood coaster trains, and electric car rides over the past decade, but this should have been their first roller coaster. You see, the track for Quicksilver Express was completed in 1995, but the park didn't actually install the ride until 2001 when the park was rebranded as Bonfante Gardens, so the track just sat at the Morgan facility for 5 years. This is why Valleyfair's Wild Thing is credited as Morgan's first coaster, even though this one was technically manufactured first. Quicksilver Express is located at the edge of Gilroy Gardens. Very little of this coaster can be seen off-ride since it climbs up a hill and is surrounded by trees. The parts you can see look good with bright red track, but the park has taken the Six Flags strategy of not painting the parts hidden from the midway. The sun has not been kind to these sections as they look super faded. I hope this ride can get a full repaint in the future because the rest of Gilroy Gardens is gorgeous. This ride is a lengthy queue line, but on the day I visited, the ride, like many in the park, was a total walk-on, and from my understanding, that's how it usually is. This queue actually has some nice theming though. Behind the entry archway, there's this giggling raccoon animatronic. I imagine a lot of people miss this because it's in a really weird location and you have to look behind you to see it, and that really is a shame because it's a nice touch. Then the queue line has some display boards talking about trains and mining. This coaster features 5 car trains. Each car has 3 rows, seating 2 riders across, so the train can accommodate a maximum of 30 riders. On the outside, these trains have the look of a mine train, but on the inside, they feel identical to Morgan Hyper trains. You have a large boxy car, a seat belt, and a lap bar that gives tons of room for most guests, even on the lowest setting. The trains are among the most comfortable of any mine train. One weird quirk with the seats though is that the very front row is angled downwards. Not sure why this was done, it's not uncomfortable, just weird. While the front row is the unobstructed view, I had a slight preference for the back. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and ascend the first of 2 lift hills. This is the smaller of the 2 at 27 feet or 8 meters tall. If you ride up front, you comically hang over the edge of the drop for a few seconds because it takes forever for the lift to disengage. It sort of feels like a family dive coaster. That first drop is quite short, and the first half has some mundane S-bends past trees. There aren't any thrills here as the first half is just the warm-up, as it exists solely to bring you to the ride's second lift hill, which goes further up the hill. This one stands 38 feet or 11.5 meters tall, and since you didn't drop down much after the first lift hill, you have some solid height for the second half. It starts with this bank drop down the hillside, but like the first lift, the front will hang over the edge of this drop for a few seconds before twisting down the hill. You get some decent laterals in the back during the drop, and the resultant pullout offers surprisingly good positive Gs for a mine train. I wasn't expecting to get forces like this on this type of ride. You then twist upwards, and the minimal banking causes some great laterals for those up front. You then curve back down the hillside, which again gives those in back some laterals. Next is a fairly tame turn, but it does pass through a shed, which is a cool feature. You then navigate back-to-back bunny hills. The first doesn't really do anything, but the second gives some weak floater airtime for those in the back car. You then coast around another turn and head into a 360-degree downwards helix. The element itself is pretty mild, but I found it funny how there's this random maintenance equipment and clothing just lying underneath the element. You then have a gradual S-bend back up the hill and quickly pass through another shed. I wish you went through this one slower because it has some theming and an explosion effect, but you barely have time to appreciate it on ride. You then hit the brakes, ending the 2,139 foot or 652 meter long coaster. If you're used to the janky transitions of Arrow mine trains, you'll be pleasantly surprised by this one. It's quite smooth, especially considering this was basically Morgan's first coaster. So what would I rate Quicksilver Express? I would give this mine train a 6 out of 10. It's an above average mine train and a decent overall coaster. It's fairly tame except for a few elements in the second half, but this ride is well landscaped, it uses the terrain very well, and it's smooth. It's the perfect fit at Gilroy Gardens. So those are my thoughts on Quicksilver Express at Gilroy Gardens. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Do you think it's one of the better mine trains out there? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canobie Coaster. Thanks for watching.